The Galactic Council chamber floated in the void between stars, a massive station where 10,000 species gathered to maintain order across the cosmos. Today, the chamber buzzed with tension. "The humans have sent their application," announced High Arbiter Krell, his crystalline body refracting light across the assembled delegates. "They wish to join the council." Laughter erupted from multiple sections. The Vorgath delegation, massive reptilian beings who controlled the largest military fleet, slapped their tails against the floor in amusement. The humans, Commander Thraxus of the Vorgoth sneered. "Those primitive apes who only discovered faster-than-light travel 20 cycles ago. They barely qualify as a spacefaring species." Ambassador Lysera of the Zenthari, a graceful insectoid race known for their diplomatic prowess, clicked her mandibles thoughtfully. "The council bylaws are clear. Any species that achieves FTL capability may apply for membership. We cannot simply deny them." "Then we test them," suggested Elder Morpheus of the Collectors, a gaseous species that existed in containment fields. "As we test all newcomers," Krell nodded slowly. "The traditional challenge: they must retrieve an artifact from the Forbidden Zones and present it to the council." "But which zone?" asked a delegate from the aquatic Delphi species. Thraxus grinned, revealing rows of serrated teeth. "Send them to Chrono 7 to the Vault of Ancients." The chamber fell silent. Even Krell's usually steady light flickered with concern. "Commander Thraxus," Krell said carefully, "no species has successfully entered that vault in 10,000 years. The last expedition of 50 Vorgath warriors, only one returned, and he was insane." "Exactly," Thraxus replied. "If the humans are as special as some believe, they will succeed. If not, the problem solves itself. The galaxy is better off without another primitive species cluttering our council." After heated debate, the council voted. The humans would face the Vault of Ancients. Chronos 7 orbited a dying red giant, its surface a wasteland of black stone and crimson dust. The planet had once belonged to the Architects, the mysterious first species that had vanished millions of years ago, leaving behind only ruins and warnings. The vault sat at the planet's equator, a perfect obsidian cube 3 kilometers on each side. Its surface was smooth, unbroken, without doors or windows. Ancient symbols covered every centimeter, written in a language that predated all known civilizations. For centuries, species had tried to enter. They used plasma cutters, antimatter bombs, dimensional rifts, and reality-bending technologies. The vault remained untouched, its black surface absorbing every attack without a scratch, but something waited inside. Long-range sensors detected energy signatures unlike anything in the known universe. Heat readings suggested something alive, or at least active. And at the vault center, according to deep penetration scans, lay an object the Architects had called the Sovereign Armor. Legends said the armor chose its wearer. Legends said it granted power beyond imagination. Legends said it had belonged to the Architect's greatest warrior, the one who had defended the galaxy against the things that dwell outside. Every species had tried to claim it. Every species had failed. Now it was humanity's turn. The human ship arrived 3 weeks later. It wasn't impressive by galactic standards, a simple exploration vessel called the Odyssey, barely 200 meters long. Its hull was dull gray metal, its weapons minimal. Its crew only 30-7. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge, studying the vault through the viewscreen. She was 42 years old, with dark hair pulled back in a military bun and eyes that had seen combat on Mars during the colony wars. "Initial scans complete, Captain," reported Lieutenant Chen from the science station. "The vault's composition is ... impossible. The material doesn't exist in any periodic table. It's not even baryonic matter." Translation: Vasquez asked. "We can't cut through it, blow it up, or phase through it. We'd have an easier time destroying a black hole." "The council sent us here to fail," said Commander Marcus Webb, Vasquez's second-in-command. He was a tall man with gray temples and a cybernetic left arm. "This is their way of keeping us out without technically rejecting us." Vasquez smiled grimly. "Then we'll have to disappoint them." She turned to her crew. "Listen up. Humans didn't reach the stars by accepting what's impossible. We're toolmakers. This is just another puzzle. A puzzle that killed 50 Vorgath warriors," Chen muttered. "Then we'll be smarter than 50 Vorgath warriors," Vasquez replied. "Which shouldn't be hard. Considering their species thinks strategy means hitting things until they break. Begin full analysis. I want to know everything about this vault, its composition, energy signature, how it interacts with radiation, gravity, everything." As the crew worked, Vasquez stared at the black cube floating against the red sun. Somewhere inside that vault, something ancient waited, and somehow she knew it was waiting for them. 3 days passed. The Odyssey maintained orbit while the crew analyzed every centimeter of the vault. They fired test projectiles, measured gravitational distortions, and studied the ancient symbols from every angle. Nothing worked. "The vault exists partially outside normal spacetime," Chen reported during the daily briefing. "It's anchored to our dimension, but most of its mass exists in somewhere else. Can we follow it there?" Webb asked. "Not with our technology. Maybe in 100 years." Vasquez drummed her fingers on the conference table. Through the window, Chrono 7 rotated slowly, the vault a black speck on its surface. What about the symbols? Any progress on translation? Linguistics officer Sarah Martinez pulled up a holographic display. The symbols aren't a written language, they're mathematical proofs. Specifically, they describe universal constants, the speed of light, gravitational constant, Planck length. It's like a test, a key. A key to what? I think it's checking if the reader understands the fundamental nature of reality. The architects wanted to ensure only advanced species could enter. But we understand those constants, Webb said. We've understood them for centuries. Martinez hesitated. There's something else. Hidden in the mathematical patterns, a frequency. She'll press the button. A sound filled the conference room, deep, resonant, almost musical. It vibrated in their chests, made their teeth ache. That's generated by the symbols, Vasquez asked. Converted from the mathematical relationships between them. Captain, I think the vault isn't locked by technology. It's locked by sound, a specific vibration that matches the vault's dimensional frequency. Like a key turning in a lock, Chen said excitedly. If we broadcast the right frequency, we might be able to shift the vault fully into our dimension. Vasquez stood. How long to prepare a broadcast? 6 hours to calibrate the equipment. Do it. The Galactic Council monitoring station orbiting Chrono 7 detected the human ship's activity immediately. The station commander, a Xanthari named Quirix, contacted the Council. Hi Arbiter, the humans are attempting sonic penetration. Krell's hologram shimmered into existence. Sonic, that's actually intelligent. Has any species tried that approach? Not successfully. The singers of Melodia attempted it 300 years ago. The vault absorbed their harmonics and reflected them back, destroying their ship. Maintain observation. If the humans fail, retrieve any survivors. And if they succeed, Krell's crystalline form pulsed with uncertainty. Then inform the Council immediately. The Odyssey descended into Chrono 7's thin atmosphere, landing a kilometer from the vault. The away team assembled in the airlock. Vasquez, Webb, Chen, Martinez, and 2 security officers. They wore environmental suits, but the planet's gravity was surprisingly comfortable. 0.95 Earth standard. The temperature was cold but manageable. The vault loomed before them, even more imposing up close. Standing at its base was like standing at the foot of a mountain. The black surface seemed to drink light, making it difficult to focus on. Martinez set up the sonic broadcasting equipment while Chen took readings. The ancient symbols glowed faintly in the red sunlight, almost seeming to pulse. Equipment ready, Martinez announced. Broadcasting in 3.2.1. The frequency poured from the speakers, that same deep, resonant tone, but amplified and refined. It rolled across the black stone like thunder, vibrating through their suits and bones. For 30 seconds, nothing happened. Then the symbols began to glow brighter. Blue light traced along the mathematical patterns, flowing like electricity through circuits. The ground trembled. Energy spiked, Chen shouted. The vault is the black surface rippled like water. A doorway formed, rectangular and perfect, revealing darkness beyond. But it wasn't empty darkness. It was alive with blue light, swirling like a galaxy in miniature. Holy hell, Webb whispered. It worked. Vasquez activated her comm. Captain to Odyssey. Document everything. If we don't return, make sure this data reaches Earth. Captain, wait, Chen said, checking his scanner. The energy inside isn't just high, it's conscious. I'm reading neural patterns, like a massive brain. The armor, Vasquez said quietly. She stepped toward the doorway. The others followed, hands on their weapons. Though they all knew human firearms would be useless against whatever created this vault, they entered the darkness. On side was a chamber that shouldn't exist, vast beyond the vault's external dimensions, with walls of shifting light and floors that seemed to be made of solidified stars. At the chamber's center, on a platform that floated without support, it stood a suit of armor. It was humanoid in shape, roughly 2 meters tall, made from metal that shifted colors: gold, silver, black, white, flowing like liquid. The helmet had no face, only a smooth mirror surface. Symbols crawled across the armor's surface, similar to those outside but more complex. That's it, Martinez breathed. The sovereign armor. As they approached, the armor's symbols glowed brighter. The chamber filled with a sound like singing thousands of voices in perfect harmony. Then the armor turned its head toward them and spoke. Humans, it said in perfect English, though the voice came from everywhere at once. I have been waiting. The away team froze. Weapons came up instinctively, though everyone knew they were useless. Speak our language, Vasquez managed, recovering first. I speak all languages, the armor replied. I am the sovereign, forged by the architects to defend this galaxy. I speak the language of whoever approaches, though none have approached in 4,000 years. 4,000, Webb said, but species have tried to enter. They tried, they failed. They could not hear the song of opening. Only those who understand both science and art, mathematics and music, logic and emotion can enter. Only the balanced ones. Chen stepped forward, scanner held like a shield. What are you? A machine, an AI. I am both more and less. I am a weapon and a guardian. I am ancient purpose made manifest. The armor gestured with one hand, and holographic images filled the chamber, images of war. They saw fleets of impossible ships, millions strong, battling against things from outside reality. Creatures of living darkness, entities that broke physics by existing, horrors that consumed entire star systems. And standing against them, a figure in golden armor, wielding power that shattered planets and ignited stars. The things that dwell outside, Martinez whispered, recognizing the legends. Yes, the Sovereign confirmed. For 10 million years, they tried to enter this galaxy. For 10 million years, the architects and I held the gates. We won, they fled. But the architects, the armor's light dimmed, they died. Too few remained, and age claimed them, before the last one departed. She bound me here, waiting for a worthy successor. Worthy, how? Vasquez asked. Every species that discovered this vault had access to the same clues, the mathematical proofs, the hidden frequencies. But only one species possessed the necessary balance to decode them, the harmony of left brain and right brain, science and art. Tell me, human captain, how did you discover the song? Martinez answered. Our linguistics officer recognized the mathematics could be converted to sound. We've been using similar techniques for centuries, turning cosmic radiation into music, representing data as audio. It's just how humans think sometimes. Precisely. The armor's glow intensified. 1,000 species saw the mathematics and thought only of mathematics. The singers of Melodia heard only music and missed the equations. Only humans saw both. So we passed your test, Webb said. Now what? Now comes the second test, the test of blood. The platform beneath the armor descended, bringing the Sovereign to their level. It stepped off, moving with liquid grace despite its apparent weight. One of you must wear me. But know this, I was forged for war. I contain the knowledge of 10 million years of conflict, the memories of every battle the architects fought. I am heavy with the weight of genocide, the burden of choices where worlds lived or died. My previous wearer was the strongest of the architects. She was 3 meters tall, with bones like diamond and a will like iron. She nearly broke under my weight. The armor's eyeless gaze swept across them. You are small, fragile. Your species has barely left your birth world. Can you carry the weight of ages? Can you wear the Sovereign without being crushed by its purpose? Silence fell over the chamber. The team exchanged glances. Then Vasquez stepped forward. I'll do it, Captain. No, Webb started. That's an order, Commander. Vasquez turned to face her team. If this goes wrong, you get everyone out and report to Earth. Tell them what we found. Tell them, she smiled slightly. Tell them we got further than anyone expected. She approached the armor, up close. It radiated power that made her skin prickle, made her heart race with primal fear. This was ancient. This was dangerous. This was meant for something greater than humanity. But humans had always reached for things beyond their grasp. That's what made them human. I'm ready, she said. The armor opened like a flower blooming, its chest and back splitting to reveal a hollow interior filled with liquid light. Step inside, Elena Vasquez. Let us see if humanity is worthy. She stepped forward. The moment her body touched the liquid light, the world disappeared. Pain, agony beyond description. Every nerve in her body screamed. She felt the armor closing around her, felt it linking to her nervous system, her brain, her very soul. Memories flooded her mind, not her memories. But the armors, she saw the architects in their glory, beings of pure thought given physical form. She saw their empire spanning the galaxy, a civilization built on harmony and wisdom. She saw the enemy arrive, the things that dwell outside, and she felt the architect's terror. She experienced battles that lasted centuries. She felt worlds die. She felt the weight of command, the burden of deciding which planets to save and which to sacrifice. She felt the architects dwindle, dying one by one, until only the last architect remained, the first defender, the Sovereign's chosen. And she felt the first defender's final moments, the exhaustion, the loneliness, the desperate hope that someone, someday, would find the armor and continue the watch. All of this crashed into Vasquez's mind in seconds that felt like years. And then she understood. The Sovereign armor sealed around Captain Vasquez, and she screamed. Her team rushed forward, but Webb held them back. Wait, look. The armor was changing. The liquid metal flowed across Vasquez's body, adjusting, shrinking, conforming to her smaller human frame. The golden color darkened, shifting to match her DNA, her neural patterns, her essence. Blue light traced along the seams like electric veins. Inside, Vasquez fought for consciousness. The armor's memories threatened to drown her, to erase her identity beneath 10 million years of history. She felt herself slipping away, becoming just another echo in the Sovereign's vast library of experience. No, she thought desperately. I am Elena Vasquez, daughter of Maria and Carlos Vasquez, born in New Chicago, survivor of the Mars colony wars, captain of the Odyssey. I am human, and humans don't quit. She grabbed onto her memories like lifelines. Her father teaching her to pilot a shuttle, her mother's laugh, her first day at the academy, Marcus Webb pulling her from a crashed transport during the war, the faces of her crew, The armor's presence pushed against her mind, testing her. You are small, it seemed to say. You are weak. How can you carry my weight? I'm human, she answered. We've carried bigger weights than anyone thought possible. We've survived extinction events, ice ages, wars, plagues. We've walked on other worlds. We've split atoms and touched the stars. We do impossible things before breakfast. So yes, I can carry you. The pressure eased. The armor ... laughed. The sound reverberated through her bones. Perhaps, the sovereign whispered directly into her mind, perhaps you are worthy after all. The pain faded. Vasquez opened her eyes and gasped. She could see everything. Not just visible light, but radiation across the entire spectrum. She could feel the planet's magnetic field, hear the cosmic background radiation, sense every electron in the chamber. The armor had enhanced her senses 1,000-fold, and the power. Oh God, the power. She felt it coiled within the armor like a caged sun, waiting for her command. Enough energy to level mountains, to crack planets, to fight things that shouldn't exist. She took a step. The armor moved perfectly, like a second skin. She raised her hand, watched light play across the shifting metal. Captain Chun's voice sounded both worried and awed. Are you ... you? Vasquez turned to face her team. The helmet's mirror surface reflected their scared faces back at them. With a thought, she commanded the helmet to retract. It flowed away from her face like liquid, revealing her features. She smiled. I'm still me. Chen just ... upgraded. By all the stars, Martinez breathed. It actually worked. A human is wearing the sovereign armor. Webb stepped forward, studying her carefully. How do you feel? Like I could punch through a sun. But also, she paused, searching for words. I can feel the armor's purpose. It's not just a weapon. It's a shield for the galaxy. The architects didn't build it for conquest. They built it for protection. Protection from what? Webb asked. The things that dwell outside. Those are just legends, right? The armor's presence stirred in Vasquez's mind, bringing a memory that wasn't hers. No, they're real. And they're still out there, beyond the galactic rim, waiting. The architects pushed them back, but they didn't destroy them. They can't be destroyed, only held back. Captain, Chen interrupted, checking his scanner. I'm reading massive energy signatures approaching, multiple ships dropping out of FTL. It's the Galactic Council fleet. Outside the vault, 20 warships materialized in Chrono 7's orbit. Leading them was the Sovereign Fang Commander Thraxis's flagship, a vessel 3 kilometers long, bristling with weapons. Thraxis watched his tactical display with satisfaction. The humans entered the vault 30 minutes ago. No communication since, Commander. His sensor officer reported. The vault's energy signature has changed. Something's happening. Then we seal it now. Thraxis activated fleet-wide communications. All ships. Target the vault's entrance. Maximum firepower. If the humans emerged, we cannot allow them to escape with whatever they found. Sir, his second-in-command said carefully. The Council didn't authorize this. The Council doesn't need to know. If the humans died inside, we report mission failure. If they survived, we ensure they don't leave. Either way, humanity stays out of Council affairs. Elder Morpheus, who had accompanied the fleet in his containment field, pulsed with alarm. Commander, this is murder. The Council will thank me for eliminating a potential threat. Humans are too curious, too ambitious, too aggressive. Better to end them now before they become powerful. Thraxis's claws tightened on his command throne. All ships, fire on my Mark 3.2. A new voice crackled over the communications system. Female, human, impossibly calm. Commander I suggest you don't do that. Thraxis whirled toward the view. Standing on the black stone below, a figure in golden armor gazed up at his fleet. Even from orbit, he could feel the power radiating from it. Impossible, he whispered. No one has worn the sovereign armor in 4,000 years. Well, Captain Vasquez replied, her voice transmitted directly through the armor systems. There's a first time for everything. Now, would you like to explain why you're pointing enough firepower to crack a moon at my team? The Galactic Council emergency session convened within minutes. High Arbiter Krell's crystalline form pulsed with barely controlled panic as holographic feeds showed. Captain Vasquez standing on Chronos, wearing the sovereign armor that no species had claimed in millennia. This is impossible, shouted Ambassador Vex of the Thrin Collective, their multiple heads speaking in discord. The armor should have rejected her. Humans are barely evolved primates. Apparently, the architects disagree, Ambassador Lysera said calmly, though her mandibles clicked with concern. Commander Thraxis, withdraw your fleet immediately. On the feed, Thraxis's face contorted with rage. That armor belongs to the galaxy, not some upstart species that learned to count on their fingers 20,000 years ago. Actually, Vasquez's voice cut through the debate, amplified by the Sovereign's communications system to reach every council member simultaneously. The armor belongs to whoever it chooses, and it chose humanity. Deal with it. She raised one hand, and the armor glowed. Energy gathered around her palm, not threatening, just demonstrating, a sphere of pure power, contained and controlled, that registered on every sensor in the system. The council chamber fell silent. I've seen the armor's memories, Vasquez continued. I know what the architects built it for. I know about the things that dwell outside. I know that for 10 million years, they've been watching, waiting for the defenders to weaken. And I know that without the Sovereign, this galaxy is vulnerable. You dare threaten us? Commander Thraxus snarled. I'm not threatening anyone. I'm explaining reality. The armor has a purpose, to defend this galaxy from external threats. That's what the architects wanted. That's what I'll do, whether the Council likes it or not. High Arbiter Krell stepped forward, light rippling across his crystalline form. Captain Vasquez, the sovereign armor was created by the architects, who were members of the Galactic Council. By rights, the armor should be returned to Council custody. The architects haven't been Council members for 3,000 years, Vasquez replied. They're extinct. And before they died, they programmed the armor to choose its own bearer based on merit, not politics. It chose me. The Council cannot allow a single species, especially one as young and unpredictable as humanity, to possess such power, Krell insisted. Vasquez's voice hardened. The Council doesn't get a vote. Aboard the Odyssey, Commander Webb watched the standoff with growing dread. 20 warships surrounded the planet, weapons armed, crews tense. His captain stood alone on the surface, wearing ancient armor, facing down the most powerful military forces in the galaxy. Sir, Lieutenant Chen said quietly, the Vorgath flagship is charging weapons. Multiple vessels are following suit. Thraxus is going to start a war, Webb muttered. Over his own pride orders, sir. Webb thought fast. The Odyssey was a scout ship, barely armed. They couldn't fight even one of those warships, let alone 20. But they couldn't abandon their captain either. Battle stations. Shields up. If they fire on the captain, we engage. Chen stared at him. Sir, that's suicide. Then we'll die protecting our captain. It's what humans do. Webb opened a channel to the fleet. This is Commander Marcus Webb of the Earth vessel Odyssey. I'm informing all Council vessels that any attack on Captain Vasquez will be considered an act of war against humanity. We may be one small ship, but we've documented everything. If we don't return, Earth will know who killed us. And Earth doesn't forgive. It was a bluff. Earth's entire fleet consisted of 50 ships, most of them smaller than the Odyssey. They couldn't fight the Galactic Council. But Webb was gambling that the Council didn't know that they'd care about the principle of murdering ambassadors. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then Elder Morpheus spoke. Commander Thraxus, stand down. This has gone far enough. The human wears the sovereign armor, Thraxus roared. If we let her leave, she tipped the balance of power. Humanity will be a Council member. High Arbiter Krell interrupted firmly. We gave them this task knowing the stakes. They succeeded. We must honor our laws. You're making a mistake, Thraxus warned. Perhaps, but the alternative is murdering ambassadors and proving that the Council's word means nothing. I will not destroy our credibility over fear. Krell's form pulsed with decision. Captain Vasquez, as High Arbiter of the Galactic Council, I formally invite humanity to join as provisional members, pending final approval after a probationary period. How long is this probationary period? Vasquez asked. Typically, 100 standard years. Make it 10. The Council erupted in protest. Krell raised a crystalline hand for silence. That's highly irregular. So is a human wearing the sovereign armor. Everything about this situation is irregular. We're adapting. Vasquez crossed her arms, the armor shifting with her movement. 10 years, we'll prove ourselves. And during those 10 years, I'll use this armor exactly as the architects intended to defend the galaxy from external threats. Not to conquer, not to intimidate, not to grab power, just to protect. Ambassador Lysara clicked thoughtfully. A compromise. 10 years probationary membership, during which Captain Vasquez acts as the sovereign's bearer with full authority in matters of external defense. But humanity has limited voice in internal council affairs, and after 10 years, Krell asked, if we've proven trustworthy, full membership. If not, Vasquez shrugged. Then I return the armor to the vault and humanity withdraws our application. Fair? The council debated for 3 hours. Finally, they voted. Humanity was in. 6 months passed. Captain Vasquez, now formally titled Sovereign Bearer Vasquez, split her time between Earth and Council space. The sovereign armor remained with her constantly, though she learned to command it to appear as simple clothing when diplomacy required. The armor could shapeshift, taking any form she desired while maintaining its protective properties. Earth celebrated wildly. Humanity, once isolated and alone, now had allies, trade partners, and a seat at the galactic table. Ships bearing Council insignias visited Earth's orbit, bringing technology, culture, and knowledge. But not everyone was happy. Commander Thraxus had returned to the Vorgath Empire in disgrace. His attempt to fire on Council ambassadors had cost him his command and nearly started a war. The Vorgath hierarchy, embarrassed by his actions, had stripped him of rank and exiled him. Thraxus didn't accept exile quietly in the darkness beyond the galactic rim, in a region of space marked as forbidden on all star charts. Thraxus's ship, our stolen Vorgath dreadnought, drifted near a structure that shouldn't exist, a gateway of impossible geometry. built from solidified darkness, pulsing with sick purple light. Humans, Thraxus hissed to his crew of loyalists and mercenaries. Weak, primitive humans wearing the sovereign armor. It's an insult to every species in the galaxy. His second-in-command, a scarred Vorgath named Krex, studied the gateway nervously. Commander, this is madness. The things that dwell outside, they're forbidden for a reason. The architects fought for millions of years to keep them out. The architects are dead, and their precious armor is wasted on an ape from a backwater world. Thraxus approached the gateway's control console, a structure of organic technology that writhed beneath his claws. But I will fix their mistake. I will give the humans a real test. Let's see how the sovereign armor performs against the enemy it was built to fight. You'll doom us all. I'll doom humanity. The rest of us will be fine. The things only want entry to our galaxy. Once they have it, we simply need to avoid them. The galaxy is vast enough. It was a lie, and Thraxus knew it. But pride and hatred had driven him beyond reason. If he couldn't command the greatest fleet, if he couldn't control the sovereign armor, then he'd watch the humans burn. He activated the gateway. The structure groaned, purple light intensifying. Space itself seemed to crack around the gateway's edges, and through the cracks, something looked back. Come, Thraxus whispered. Come and feast on the weak. The gateway opened. 3 days later, every sensor in the galaxy screamed a warning. Vasquez was on Earth, meeting with the president and military leaders. When the alert came through, the sovereign armor materialized around her instantly, responding to her spike of adrenaline. What is it? President Chen asked, alarmed. Vasquez's eyes unfocused as the armor connected her to galactic sensor networks. What she saw made her blood freeze. Oh God. Oh no. Captain, the edge of the galaxy. Something's coming through. Multiple contacts. Hundreds of them. Thousands. She looked at the president, and he could see fear in her eyes. They're back. The things that dwell outside. The emergency council session assembled faster than any in recorded history. Vasquez's hologram appeared in the chamber alongside representatives from every major species. The central display showed the threat, a swarm of entities pouring through a breach in reality at the galaxy's edge, each one the size of a city, moving faster than light, leaving destroyed space in their wake. They've been dormant for 4,000 years, High Arbiter Krell said, his crystalline form pulsing with terror. Why now? Why did they return? Someone opened a gateway, Vasquez said grimly. The sovereign armor had shown her the truth through its sensors. Someone let them in deliberately. Who would be that insane? Ambassador Lysera demanded. I would. Commander Thraxus's image appeared in the chamber. He was broadcasting from deep space, his stolen ship already fleeing the breach. I gave the humans the test they deserved. Let's see if your precious sovereign bearer can stop what's coming. Krell's voice thundered. You've doomed billions. Close the gateway. I destroyed the controls. The gateway will stay open for months, long enough for the entire swarm to enter. Goodbye, Council. Goodbye, humans. May you suffer as I have suffered. The transmission ended. The chamber erupted in panic. Representatives shouted, screamed, demanded action. Fleets scrambled. Evacuation orders went out to border worlds, but Vasquez stood silent, feeling the sovereign armor's ancient purpose awaken fully. The enemy it had been built to fight was here. The war the architects had died fighting was beginning again, and humanity was about to learn why the armor had chosen them. The first battle happened at the border world of Terminus, a mining colony with 3 million inhabitants. The things that dwell outside arrived without warning, their twisted forms breaking through reality like shattered glass. They were nightmares made manifest, beings of living darkness with too many dimensions, shapes that hurt to perceive, entities that consumed matter and energy equally. Physics broke around them. Ships exploded just from getting too close. Planets aged centuries and seconds. The local defense fleet engaged. 40 warships, including 2 Vorgoth dreadnoughts, fought desperately to buy time for evacuation. They lasted 6 minutes. By the time Vasquez arrived, traveling through space at speeds the armor-enabled Terminus 9 was gone. Not destroyed. Gone. The planet had been consumed, erased from reality, leaving only a void where it had been. No, she whispered, feeling the deaths of 3 million people through the armor's senses. No, no, no. Focus, the sovereign commanded in her mind. Grieve later. Fight now. More things poured through the breach, hundreds of them, spreading across the border sectors like a plague. The armor showed her projections. At this rate, they consumed the entire galaxy in 3 years. Vasquez opened communications to every council military frequency. This is Sovereign Bearer Vasquez to all defense forces. Fall back to the Gauntlet line. The Gauntlet was a series of fortified systems forming a natural choke point in the spiral arm. We hold them there. You can't be serious, Admiral Cross of the Centauri fleet replied. Sovereign Bearer, there are 50 inhabited worlds between here and the Gauntlet. 15 billion people. I know, but if we spread out, we lose everything. We concentrate our forces. We have a chance. Evacuate who you can. The rest, her voice cracked. The rest we avenge. All fleets, fall back. That's an order you don't command, Cross started. The sovereign armor grants me authority in external threats, Vasquez interrupted. This is the most external threat possible. You either follow my orders or watch the galaxy die. Choose. One by one, the admirals acknowledged. The gauntlet line held 40,000 warships from 300 species. It was the largest fleet ever assembled. They formed a wall across 3 star systems, weapons charged, crews terrified. Behind them, refugees streamed inward, civilian ships by the millions, carrying those who'd escaped the border worlds. And behind the refugees came the things. Vasquez floated in space before the fleet, alone, the sovereign armor blazing with golden light. Through it, she could feel the things approaching, could feel their hunger, their alien wrongness, their desire to unmake everything that existed. Commander Webb's voice crackled in her ear, transmitted from the Odyssey positioned in the fleet center. Captain, they're 2 light years out and closing. 3,000 contacts. We're outnumbered 75 to 1. I know. Marcus. Elena, he used her first name, something he never did on duty. You don't have to do this alone. We're all here. All of humanity's fleet. Earth sent every ship we have. She smiled sadly. Humanity's entire military, 53 ships, including civilian vessels retrofitted with weapons, formed a small cluster in a larger fleet. They were the smallest contingent there, but they'd come anyway. Typical humans, she murmured, always punching above our weight. The things crossed into sensor range. On her display, they appeared as tears in reality, each one radiating power that could crack moons. It is time, the Sovereign whispered. Remember what I showed you. Remember the first defender. Vasquez closed her eyes, accessing the armor's deepest memories. She saw the final battle of the Architect War, saw the last Architect standing alone against 10,000 things, saw her raise the Sovereign armor's power to heights that should have been impossible. And she understood. The armor wasn't just a weapon. It was a beacon, a focus. It could channel power from the user, yes, but it could also channel power to the user. From anyone willing to give it. All ships, Vasquez broadcast. This is going to sound crazy, but I need you to trust me. I need you to trust humanity. She activated the Sovereign's true power. The armor exploded with light, not attacking, but reaching out. Threads of energy extended from her toward every ship in the fleet. 40,000 connections forming in seconds. What the admirals across the fleet shouted as their ships' power systems linked to the Sovereign. I can't fight them alone, Vasquez said. But the armor was never meant to fight alone. It was meant to unite, to focus the strength of many into the hands of one. The first defender did it with the architects. Now I'm doing it with all of you. You're asking us to trust a human with our ship's power. Admiral Cross demanded. That's exactly what I'm asking. The things are here. We can fight as separate species and lose, or unite as one galaxy and win. Decide fast. For 5 seconds, nothing happened. Then a human voice, Captain Rodriguez of Earth's carrier Victory, spoke up. Humanity stands with you. Captain, take our power. The Zenthari fleet acknowledges, Lysara said. Delphi Armada commits, another added, one by one. Species that had never trusted each other, that had fought wars and held grudges for thousands of years, gave their power to a human wearing ancient armor. The Sovereign armor blazed like a newborn star. The things arrived. They poured into the gauntlet systems, reality cracking around them, darkness spreading like infection, and Vasquez met them. She moved faster than thought, the armor channeling the combined power of 40,000 warships. Golden light erupted from her hands, not weapons of destruction but tools of reality restoration. Where the things cracked space, she mended it. Where they consumed matter, she restored it. The first defender had fought the things with raw power, holding them back through sheer strength. But Vasquez fought differently. She fought like a human with strategy, adaptation, creativity. She studied their patterns, found their weaknesses, exploited them, and she wasn't alone. Through the links, she could feel 40,000 crews supporting her. Different species, different thoughts, different perspectives, all flowing into her consciousness. The analytical precision of the Zenthari, the tactical brilliance of the Vor, the creative flexibility of humanity, all united. The battle raged for 6 hours. Things fell by the hundreds, their forms collapsing as Vasquez and the fleet tore them apart. But more kept coming. The breach, Chen reported from the Odyssey. We have to close the breach, or this never ends. He was right. The gateway Thraxis had opened was still pouring more things through, but it was 2 light years away, deep in the swarm. Vasquez made her decision. All ships, maintain the line. I'm going through. Elena. No, Webb shouted. That's suicide. Then I guess I'll have to survive. She smiled, even though he couldn't see it. Besides, we're humans. We specialize in doing impossible things. She launched herself toward the breach, leaving the fleet behind. The armor carried her faster than light, weaving through the things, dodging attacks that could atomize planets. They converged on her like a living storm. She fought through, for everything that blocked her path. She destroyed 2 more. The armor sang with power, burning brighter than stars, fueled by an entire galaxy's determination to survive. The gateway loomed ahead, an obscene wound in reality. Through it, she could see the void outside, the endless darkness where the things dwelled, and she could see them coming. Millions more, waiting to enter. The sovereign armor showed her what needed to be done. The gateway couldn't be closed, not without the controls Thraxis had destroyed, but it could be sealed from the inside. Marcus, she transmitted, tell Earth I'm sorry. Tell them humanity was worthy. Tell them we made a difference. Alina, what are you? She didn't answer. Instead, she flew into the gateway, into the space between spaces, and unleashed every scrap of power that armor contained. The explosion rewrote reality for a light year in every direction. The gateway collapsed, sealed shut by forces that would hold for 1,000 years. The things on the inside were cut off from the swarm, isolated and vulnerable. The fleet, finally facing manageable numbers, destroyed them all. 3 days later, the council assembled for the memorial service. 10 billion dead, 50 worlds gone. But the galaxy had survived. High Arbiter Krell spoke for all of them. Captain Elena Vasquez gave her life to seal the breach. She saved us all. Humanity, your provisional status is lifted. You are full council members, with all rights and privileges. It's the least we can do. President Chen, representing Earth, nodded solemnly. We accept. Captain Vasquez would want us to, sir. Lieutenant Rodriguez burst into the chamber. Sir, you need to see this. On every screen a transmission appeared. A figure in golden armor, standing on an asteroid in deep space, helmet retracted to show a familiar face. Sorry I'm late, Elena Vasquez said, grinning. Turns out the armor has really good shields. Who knew? The chamber exploded with shock, relief, and joy. The sovereign armor protected me through the explosion, Vasquez explained. Took me 3 days to find my way back. But I'm fine. The armor's fine. And the breach is sealed. Her expression turned serious. The things will try again. In 100 years, or 1,000, or 10,000. But now the galaxy knows how to stop them. United, she looked directly at the camera, at the thousands of species watching. The architects spent 10 million years defending this galaxy alone. They didn't have to. If they'd united everyone, shared the burden, maybe they'd still be here. Let's not make that mistake. Human Vorgoth, Xanthari, Delphi, all of us. We're stronger together. Commander Webb appeared beside the president, tears streaming down his face. Permission to bring the captain home, sir. Granted. And Webb, Chen smiled. Tell her we're proud. All of humanity is proud. 1 year later, the memorial statue was unveiled on Earth. It showed Captain Elena Vasquez in the sovereign armor. But she wasn't alone. Around the base, figures from every council species stood together, looking up at her. The inscription read, Alone we survive. United we thrive. The galaxy learned this from humanity. And across the cosmos, on 10,000 worlds, people of 1,000 different species looked at that statue and understood. The age of isolation was over. The age of unity had begun. All because humans arrived, and the galaxy was never the same.